Glen Close.
But
But
it keeps saying it's going to rain, and it almost does. And then
have you not had any rain? We've had rain quite a few times today.
Oh, not a lot, and it's so dry outside.
I know, we need it. Anyway, welcome back everyone to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong. This is a podcast hosted by two exes who are now good friends, and we talk about pop culture, politics, celebrity deaths, the state of the world, and lots of other things that just pop up. I'm Josh, I'm one of the hosts, and the other one is Sean. Hi Sean, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing all right. I've got a lot on. I'm busy. We're just talking about the
Have you not got
humidity.
time for us?
No, you're very lucky that I've squeezed you into my schedule.
Oh, we're so honoured. Why are you so busy? What's going on?
Oh, just work stuff, and I suppose it's not a secret, but because I've been working with Made in Hackney, and we did a partnership with another charity called Support and Feed, which was founded by Billie Eilish's mom, Maggie. And this week we've been hosting a table, like an information table, at Billie Eilish's concert at the O2. She's doing 6 sold-out nights at the O2 Arena.
You went to her show the other night, didn't you?
Yeah. There was so much screaming. I've been at gigs where people scream. I've screamed at gigs. I was shocked by and I think just maybe because the amount of people. There were 20,000 people in there, and it was so loud. You could sometimes not hear anything other than the screaming.
Oh, really?
And I've been at gigs where people have screamed or sung loudly. Like, I think when I went to the first time I saw Alanis Morissette in Australia, in Brisbane, on the Jagged Little Pill tour, like everyone was singing louder than the band, her and the band. Like it was, and it was a small venue. It was Festival Hall. So, but this was 20,000 people just screaming. And I don't know. Would you have thought that Billie Eilish was at that level of hysteria still? Like she's been out a while, right?
I don't know. I mean, to be completely honest, I'm really not that familiar with a lot of her work. I know I can probably name 2 songs, Birds of a Feather and What I Was Made For. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's music for a younger generation, which sounds so stupid, I know, but I just don't think it sort of naturally appeals to people of my age, and that's not a slight, it's not a read, it's just I think she speaks to a much younger generation.
But obviously there was a lot of younger people there, but when did she release her first record? Like 7 years ago or something?
Yeah, quite a long time
ago.
So
if there were a lot of teenagers there, they would have been 8 years old when she. So
well, I think she does appeal to a very young demographic.
Yeah, because to me, the fans that were at this show, the majority of them were younger than 20. And a lot of them were with their parents. They were that young. They were with their parents. Lots of people with their parents. Like, I don't know, the dad had to bring a group of friends, or the auntie was there, whatever it is. And yeah, and it's also a bit odd because she's not sexual, and there's nothing wrong with being sexual on stage, but she has some content that is, a little more mature. Like she has that terrible song with Charlie XCX called Guess.
Yeah.
You want to guess the color of my
underwear.
And, and it's got lyrics like something like push it to the side, get all up in it. And And so it's quite explicit even if it's not explicitly saying the act. But so she's saying that, and I was just looking at these like tweens with their dads or their granddads or their mums or whatever, and I was like, this is really odd. Like this feels odd to be sat here while, imagine being there with your parents while, Billie Eilish is singing about.
Yeah.
Or she has that other song called Lunch, like where she's saying, I could eat that girl for lunch. And it's like, oh, I wouldn't want to see that with adults in my life if I was a teenager.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's nice that you got to go, even though it was at my famously least favourite venue in London, the O2.
Well, what about this? How much do you think a can of Coke would be at the O2 during a gig?
I mean, I don't buy Coke, so I don't know what a can of Coke would be anywhere.
What would you expect a can of drink to be if you went somewhere? Like a
In
can,
a
not
venue,
yeah, not a pint, not a
£2
right. Try £6.
for a can of Coke.
Yeah,
Wow,
and there
it's
were
just
like
yeah.
all of
I mean,
the food concessions inside the arena went, I think vegan, but they were definitely meat free because
mhm,
Billy's famously a vegan.
mhm.
But there were things like I don't know, a wrap. It was like £17, or like it was so outrageous the costs of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like one taco, like one loaded taco, like one
Hmm.
£14.
That's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, the O2 is just, it's not a concert venue. It's a retail experience, and I despise it. Anyway,
So,
I'm not going to say any
but,
more.
but listen to this. We went up to the bar because Hill and I were there, and we were like, we're really thirsty.
Hmm.
And we were looking, and they had those small bottles of water. They're not even 500 mils, they're like
Yeah,
330.
330. Hmm.
And we were like, oh, how much are they? And they were like £4. And I was like, okay. And I was
It's
looking around, and there was
outrageous.
like a tap where you could fill up water bottles.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, we don't have water bottles. So what if we buy one bottle of water
Hmm.
and then we drink it and then we go and fill it up?
Hmm.
And then I looked, and they had in the O2, they have these, when we did the beer festival, we had those reusable plastic cups.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they had those, and they were like, you use them and then you leave them at the venue, and then
Yeah.
you wash them and reuse them. And it's a way to cut down on waste.
Hmm.
And they had a whole bunch of them. And I said to the person, could I just have two of those cups? Like, because, you give them out to people when they buy a drink and then they return them. So I said, can I just have two of the cups?
Hmm.
And she said, yeah, okay. And I said, like, instead of the bottle of water, I don't want to pay for the water. She goes, yeah, that's fine. And she goes, do you want tap water? Like, I can do it from behind here. And I said, yes, please. That's very kind of you. And then she said, do you want ice? And I was like, yes. And so I ended up getting 2 pints of
Yeah.
like iced tap water. And Hill was like, do we need to pay? And I was like, no, she's giving them to us. Like, she's doing a kind gesture.
Hmm.
Like, if we'd both bought a bottle of water, that would have been £8.
I mean,
But
I know that I probably come across as a very moaning, negative, complaining kind of person in this podcast, but there's actually, well, I was going to say there's nothing I hate more in the world, but that's not true. There are things I hate more. But one of the things that annoys me a lot in life in general is bottled water. Like, I
mhm.
fucking despise it. Like, it should be illegal. I mean, there would be situations where it's necessary, definitely. But plastic bottles of fucking water. I mean, in Mexico, for example, we talked a lot about Mexico. In Mexico, you can't drink the tap water. So it's a different situation there, although there are alternatives to like small plastic bottles. But in a country where the tap water is safe to drink, I think it's criminal that people sell plastic bottles of water. Like, it's absolutely fucking outrageous. Anyway, before I get onto too much of a complaining kind of vibe, um, how was the gig?
Yeah, it was all right. It's not for me.
Right.
Like I'm really grateful for the support for the charity. And
Yeah.
there are some of Billy's songs that, I think are pretty okay. Like they're good pop songs.
Hmm.
But I felt incredibly old. Like what probably wasn't the place where I would want to be.
Yeah.
And the staging was incredible. Like the work that whoever it was, Live Nation or whoever the touring company has put into it, like the staging was phenomenal.
Hmm.
But like people, young people, like a third of my age, screaming for 2 hours.
It's a lot.
It was really intense. But yeah, like she had a band on stage, like, they were all doing a fucking
Was
amazing job.
was Phineas with her? I mean, he
I
always
don't
plays
think
with her,
so.
doesn't he?
No,
No.
I don't think he was
Oh.
there. I think he's off on his own tour.
Ah.
But
It's
um,
nice that she, wherever she tours, wherever she's playing, she donates a lot of money to vegan
yeah, I mean,
charities.
it's incredible.
or
Yeah, and
not
it's a
just
lot.
charities, but vegan businesses. Like I know in Philadelphia, she supported that Love Food Deli,
Yeah.
which is a vegan pop-up deli, not pop-up, but a vegan deli. And she gave them a lot of money to provide meals to the homeless and stuff like that. So it's nice that she's paying it forward and using her fame and wealth to do good things. That's a really
And
nice gesture.
where she has this thing called, I don't know, maybe Billy's Map or something, where she partners with Google Maps, and wherever she
Mm.
tours, she sends a link out to her fans of a map with vegan places to eat.
Yeah.
And so I gave them some suggestions. I gave her team some suggestions on what to include
Mm-hmm.
on the map. I think they knew most of them, but there were a few that I gave them that they didn't know about, and they've
Okay.
included.
Nice.
And then Billy's mum Maggie, who is the founder of Support and Feed, uh, she came and volunteered with us at Made in Hackney
Oh, that's
one day and
nice.
did some stuff with us, and she was lovely. And I mean, they're all really lovely, incredible people. Billy is super talented, and I can't even imagine being 23 years old and being that famous and
Yeah.
having all of those people scream at you. Like when I was sat in the arena and there's 20,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them, the majority of them, are screaming at you, and then you have to do that 6 nights in a row, and then you have to
Yeah.
go somewhere else and do it 4 nights in a row in another city. That's got to not be great for your mental health, right?
No, no, and your developmental kind of stuff, like at that age, we've spoken about it before, haven't we? Just like what it would be like to grow up with that kind of scrutiny.
Yeah.
It must really, really affect so many things. Um, but what was I going to say? I saw you post something online the other day. I don't know if you wanted to talk about this today or not, but I'll throw it out there in case you do. But you watched a documentary about, and I've forgotten her name, but the
Belle
Australian
Gibson.
Belle Gibson. Yeah, so you watched that documentary about Belle Gibson. I've not watched the documentary, but I have watched the dramatization on Netflix. Is it on Netflix? I think.
But
Apple
isn't the
cider vinegar.
drama apple cider vinegar? Yeah, isn't the
Yeah.
dramatization like an amalgamation of two different people? Like, isn't it loosely based on her and loosely based on someone else, or is it just about her?
I don't think so. I mean, the character's called Belle Gibson
Oh,
in the
okay. Well,
show,
maybe I
so
got
I
it
think
wrong
it
then.
really is her.
So I
Um,
watched a two-part documentary about her, and
what an interesting character, right?
it is wild. Wild. I don't know
So,
what the dramatization showed, but some of the stuff towards the end of it all as well. Did they show
yeah,
that bit
like the
where
60 Minutes interview, and
yeah, but did they show what she did after she sort of went to ground and into hiding after 60 minutes? She
I don't
popped
know,
up.
possibly.
I think it was like an Ethiopian community event in Australia. Did you see this?
Oh, no, I think I read about it afterwards because, of course, as soon as I finished watching the thing, I went and like did a deep dive on Wikipedia and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
she said she's now part of that community or something, or not
yeah, and
quite
she was
words to that
wearing a
effect, but
headscarf and she was trying to talk in Ethiopian or Eritrean or I think it was Ethiopian and like I just don't understand. Like, imagine being obviously she has mental health issues like that. You could not be of sound mind and
do the
be
things that
doing
she's
the
done.
things that she
Yeah,
did, like pretending to have cancer.
yeah.
The document, I don't know, did the dramatization show all of her pre-wellness influencer journey about how she came up in these skateboarding communities?
Yeah, yeah, it was so interesting, and like, I don't know if her channel or her media stayed completely vegan till the end, but a lot of it was about vegan whole food diets, wasn't it? And it's just, it just reeks of all that's wrong with some aspects of like vegan messaging
Yeah.
that we've spoken about, but yeah.
Well, have you seen the drama going on my Facebook page, on my Fat Gay Vegan
No,
Facebook page?
no. What's
I
this?
wrote a blog post about a new vegan cafe in Shoreditch.
Oh, the Spanish chain.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and in the blog post, I was critical of them because they
Hmm.
advertise juice cleansing and juice detoxing.
Yeah.
And so I said, look, the cafe is lovely. It's like really pretty. I said it's expensive. Like, a bowl of food is like 14 pounds. A sandwich is like 8 pounds. I was like, so it's expensive London prices,
Mm-hmm.
but they've got like a whole fridge and a section on their website dedicated to juice cleansing and talking about removing toxins from your body with juice cleansers. And so I said, look, this doesn't, in my thing, I said, this is like tantamount to a scam. It's like, it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like there's
It's
no,
a hair's breadth away from Belle Gibson's bullshit.
it's a bee's dick away from Belle Gibson.
I was gonna say that, but I was trying not to be so crude.
So, I did this, and then, some producing people got on there and they started saying things. And because I had recently done a post about some of the vegan food, like snacks you could get in Asda, somebody
Mm-hmm.
wrote, "Oh, well, you'll encourage people to eat vegan junk food like that. But if someone wants juicing, what do you think your body would prefer?" And I said, "My body would prefer not to have to deal with dickheads like you. Thank you." And so I got
Mm-hmm.
into fighting with people. And also, but I got back on there and said, "Look, I'm not telling people that if they eat Asda vegan treats 7 days straight, that it will do something for their body beneficial.
That's
Juicing does
not.
not work. It's a
Yeah.
scam. It is scientifically unsound."
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I also said nice things about the business. I didn't say
Yeah,
don't go
I
there.
read that blog post. I hadn't seen the drama, but I had read the blog
And
post.
so one of the founders of the business got on and commented under my post and was saying, I don't know, it was just like, "Oh, thank you for writing about us. We've had some people come in since they've seen you. Like, even if juicing's not your thing, isn't for you, we hope you can come back in and we can host you, blah, blah, blah." And I
Okay.
just wrote and said, "Oh, well, yeah, like I said, like your place is beautiful. Your food looked lovely. Like some of the social stuff you do, like they support like running groups and swimming clubs in where their restaurants are." I said, "That looks great." I said, "No, I'm not keen on the the juicing, cleansing that." And then in brackets, I wrote pesky science.
Mm.
And I said, "But, you might see me around. I live in the neighborhood." So, but it's so irresponsible of people to
Yeah. Yeah.
peddle this shit. Like it's absolute bullshit.
But it's part of a much bigger issue, isn't it? And it's just this whole narrative of false information that's out there about what is healthy, what's good, what's acceptable, what's what's the optimum thing for your body. And there's just so much bullshit. And I mean, we're not really qualified to talk about it in great depth, but if you listen to the Maintenance Phase podcast, which we've spoken about many times on here, they are really fantastic sort of societal commentators, looking at the wellness industry, looking at diet fads,
Mm-hmm.
food crazes, that sort of thing. And it's just, yeah, like there's so much evidence that counters 99% of the bullshit that's peddled online,
Yeah.
that it's just staggering that people still do it.
Well, I get that people are looking for answers in a world that is pretty fucking intense.
Mm-hmm.
I know that if you live with illness, ongoing, chronic, or even mild illness, it's such an easy route to look for answers. Like
Yeah,
it's so easy for you to get sort of picked off by these grifters.
yeah,
And I even think some of the people doing it don't really understand that they're grifting people. I think they might even
yeah,
be fooling themselves
yeah,
or have been
yeah,
fooled.
yeah, that's
And,
true.
you think like, I wrote a comment saying the reason why it works so well and why it's able to pull so many people in is because there is like any good scams or conspiracies, there's an element of truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is true that vegetable juices and fruit juices contain nutrients and
Yeah,
vitamins. There's an
and
element
it's
of truth to that.
true that your body needs vitamins
Yes.
to have normal cell function.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
But
like ties it. Yeah, you're right.
drinking only juices for 3 days or 7 days
Uh,
does not detoxify your body.
mm-mm.
Even the concept of toxins in your body doesn't make sense. Like if you are if your body is toxic or contains toxins, you need medical intervention, like you've been poisoned. Like,
yeah, if you've got
how,
lead poisoning,
yeah,
then you need help.
yeah. So it winds me up that people have got a vegan business that it embraces that sort of woo, like scientifically unsound stuff about juicing and
I mean,
toxifying.
we've spoken not for a while now, but conspiracy theories have been quite a recurring theme on this podcast, and we've spoken
Yeah,
about lots of different conspiracy theories. And we've said when we talk about that, we've said that you know we think at least that there's a certain section of society who are looking for simple answers to complex issues. So when I don't know, take the 9/11 incident and the fall of the Twin Towers in New York City, it's somehow easier to believe that there was a government conspiracy, a government cover-up, and that the government blew those buildings up and brought them down than it is to conceive of the alternative, and that
yeah.
it was a coordinated terror attack. Um, and so, yeah, I think in the same way that people approach conspiracy theories, like they see something and they're like, oh, there's a simple answer to a very complex issue. And the same
Yeah.
with health messaging and, vitamins, juicing, whatever, detoxing stuff.
And
It's all just,
you don't have to dig very far to find reputable doctors or scientists who will tell you, hey, this doesn't work. This doesn't do what it does. And
yeah,
drinking juice now and then isn't that bad for you, but drinking only juice for 7 days is not only not going to do the things it says, but it actually can be detrimental to your well-being.
yeah.
So it is dangerous, and it also is exploitative of people who often live adjacent to eating disorders.
Yeah, definitely. But the whole Belle Gibson thing was a classic example of that. Just nonsense that so many people were able to get on board with because she did it in such a subtle and smart way, I suppose. And whether or not she was conscious of that, or whether
I think that was an extreme version of what we're talking about. Like these people are
right.
Like I don't want
But
to.
it didn't start off like that though.
No, but I don't want to. Well, if you think that she was saying I've got brain cancer as how she became famous, that's a pretty extreme way to start
Yeah,
the grift.
but I suppose what I mean by that is that when her app launched, it wasn't talking about getting rid of cancer.
No, she never. I don't think she ever promised people that she would get rid of their cancer. I think she was just saying, this is what I've done to make cancer manageable. This is how I survive with cancer. That's what she did. And she did that from day one. And so that was the big grift. And so that all of these mostly young women who were living with cancer or had been recently diagnosed with cancer turned to her and said, well, if she can do that, I can do it too. And that's, she grifted people. And that story about how she raised money for the family of that young boy with cancer and then kept all the money.
Never gave it to them. Yeah,
But
you should watch apple cider vinegar because, well, not just for this. I think you'd enjoy the dramatization of it, but I was so blown away by the Australian accents because it's Caitlin, what's her name? Caitlin
Jenner.
No, Devlin, is it something? Anyway, Caitlin something. She was in The Last of Us. She was in lots of things anyway, but she was so convincing with her Australian accent, and also her friend in it, who I've seen in other things as well, whose name escapes me at the moment. Both American. They did such incredibly convincing Australian accents.
Yeah.
So
that's
I find
wild, isn't it? Because it's quite a difficult accent to do for people.
Yeah. And normally it's the other way around. Normally it's like British people or Australian people trying to do an American accent.
Yeah.
So to hear it sort of done the other way around, I was very, very impressed.
And like I'm not trying to equate. Like I think there are levels of grifting around this. So I think she's an extreme version. And then I think people who run juicing businesses, I think that's sort of less on the scale, but it's still
Depends how they market themselves, I suppose.
Yeah, well, if you've got a page on your website like this cafe that says, our juices, juicing can remove toxins and help, like that's.
It's
I don't understand how that can be allowed, like under advertising laws.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the whole legal framework, but yeah, I mean the maintenance phase podcast has discussed it in so many episodes. So many things like health claims, whether it's talking about juicing, about detoxing, about vitamins, or if it's talking about superfoods, supplements, magic bullet stuff, like green coffee or whatever. So many of these claims have absolutely no science to back them up. Not only because the research hasn't been done, but because the research would actually be practically impossible to do. You would need a sample group of at least 100 people. You would need them to live in complete isolation from society so that you could have a control group. You would have to have people who exist in a bubble, and people would have to give their consent to have every single part of their life monitored.
But they would also all have to have the same genetic makeup for it to actually even matter, because
not necessarily,
because some people have different like more what do you call it when you're more likely to develop cancer,
a predisposition to something, but
you've got a certain gene, or somebody could live the healthiest life that anyone could ever live, whole foods and exercise, and still develop cancer. So these things are not like, there is no way you can, I don't even know. Like, it just makes me so angry.
But maybe because it can't be disproven that these things are good.
Well, it can be as well. Like, there are doctors that say this is not true. Like the NHS, go onto the NHS website and they'll say this is not true. There's no truth to this. So it's also like with Belle Gibson. Like, I don't understand how there isn't something that she's done that hasn't wound her up in prison. Like, she
I don't get it either.
Ordered to pay by the trading standards in Australia, ordered to pay like 450,000 Australian dollars. She hasn't paid it.
And what about the fraud? By taking money for that young kid with cancer and never giving it to the family.
It's so weird to me that these things just go on. Like, there's people selling juices and telling people is detoxing their bodies or cleansing their bodies, and it's like it's not. Like, it's just not. There's no argument to be had. It's not doing that.
Yeah.
And then the extreme version, her being the super grifter of the universe, and that she's still walking around with however much money, and now she's on some grift where she's trying to pretend she's helping the Ethiopian community of Australia. It's so bizarre.
There's just, I mean, that's one of my most sort of disliked aspects of vegan discourse, is around the whole health thing. You and I spoken about it a lot, off air, and a bit about it on air, but the whole messaging that goes, or the whole argument about choosing veganism or choosing a plant-based diet because it's good for you, I just always rejected that, because I just absolutely despise it. It's not the reason you or I went vegan. It's not a good way of getting people on board. Like, veganism comes from a place of compassion, and a compassion for other beings, and other sentient life forms. That to me is the start and end point of veganism. And I'm also a bit wary about all of the climate messaging around veganism as well. I don't dismiss it entirely. Like, I think there's a lot of validity to it, and there does seem to be peer reviewed research which backs up a lot of the claims that a whole food plant-based diet is better for the planet than one heavy in animal products. But for me, it's always been a bit sort of, I don't know what's the word, not like shooting yourself in the foot kind of thing, but it's almost setting up an a narrative around veganism which is doomed to be self-destructive, because veganism, for me at least, should come from a place purely of, doing the right thing for sentient animals.
Right. Well, I think eating, say, plant-based food, maybe because it has environmental benefits for the planet, is a good enough reason as anything. I think that if you
Yeah.
can stop eating and wearing things that are contributing to the destruction of the planet, or at least slow it down a bit, I think that's a good enough reason. But yeah, you're right. For me and for you, and for a lot of vegans, we don't partake, or we reduce our consumption or dependence on animal products as much as possible because we want to lessen the suffering of sentient beings. And that's a good enough reason for me.
And I mean, I think the whole climate argument, yes, I think it's a valid reason to stop eating animal products. And I suppose it does, it's about something external to you. It's about doing something that's better for something or someone
Yeah.
external. And that's but all the messaging around, oh, go vegan, your sex drive will improve,
Oh, that's
or go
fucked up.
vegan,
Yeah.
your skin will be better. Just all
Yeah.
of that rubbish.
Yeah.
I find it so problematic.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's usually um, based around shaming people for the way they
mhm,
are, like either their
mhm.
weight, you'll lose weight, uh, like their sexual prowess, like, go vegan, you'll get bigger erections, or you'll remember that weird people for the ethical treatment of animals thing where they were like, if you eat meat, your baby's penis will be
Oh
small.
yeah, yeah,
Like just bizarre shit like that. That
yeah.
is, yeah,
Do
it's
you
like
know?
straight out of cult playbook.
There was an article I read the other day about vegan travel. It was on the Guardian, I think, website, and they had quotes from PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and I was just like, who's going to PETA anymore for that sort of thing? Like, I haven't seen or heard about them in so long.
Well,
Uh,
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I wouldn't be
mm,
surprised if they didn't plant that story through their PR marketing team.
yeah, well,
They
I did
didn't send
wonder,
a press release saying, "Hey, we've got this hot take on this. How about one of
because
your journalists write that, and we'll
there was
give."
a link to PETA's, vegan city guides or
Yeah,
something in the
yeah.
article.
They might have even fucking paid for it to be played,
Yeah, yeah.
like
But
an
it was just very
advertorial.
odd having not seen or heard of them for so long, like years. I haven't seen
Yeah,
them sort of brought
yeah. Well,
up in any media. It's
fuck
odd to see
them.
them suddenly used as a reference point. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, fuck them.
yeah.
Uh, did you talking of Netflix things? I was telling you I watched that show with Meg Stelter in
Oh
it.
yeah, Lena Dunham's new show.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
have you heard about it or seen it?
No, no, I've got it on my watch list, but I haven't.
And there are some real interesting cameos in it. So maybe if you watch it, we can talk about it um, in the future. But
All right.
you'll be happily surprised by some of the cameos
Okay. Okay. Well,
in
you
it.
also you also need to watch Hacks because Meg Stelter's in that, and that is a brilliant one of my favorite shows
But now I'm
ever.
kind of torn because I'm in the middle of this show, or I'm watching it, or maybe I'm towards the end. I don't know. And
What's it
I've
called again?
too much.
Too much. Okay.
Demasiado in Espanol.
Hmm.
I was reminded of that because we're watching it, because Hill's watching it with me, and we're watching it with the Spanish subtitles on.
Oh, okay.
And so every time the title of the show pops up and says too much in brackets underneath, it says demasiado.
Demasiado. Hmm.
Um, but um, what was I going to say about it?
I don't
Like,
know. You were torn between
oh, yeah, I'm
whether.
torn between like, because I know that it's Meg Stelter and she's unmistakably her. I've seen her stand-up show live, and I've watched a lot of her stuff online. She's got a very unique style about her. And
I like
so,
her. Have you seen her little sort of video she does in Pride Month,
yeah,
where she's like parodying like companies that
yeah,
that celebrate Pride, and they hire some queer spokesperson to you know big up their brand online or something for Pride Month. It's very funny.
yeah.
Anyway, well, I'll link to it in the show notes.
But she, in this, so I'm getting immersed in her as this character. So even though I can't really extract her from it because she's so unique,
Mm.
I'm like, oh, she's this character right now.
Mm.
So if I start also watching another show with her playing another character, I kind of feel like it's too much conflict in my brain.
Yeah, that's weird. I can't
Again,
watch.
I
I
need
can't
to,
watch a show, two shows concurrently if they've got the same actor in, because
yeah,
it
like
just
I need to let
totally
her
warps your mind.
play out this storyline and the emotional arc of this
Yeah,
character in this show. And
yeah.
then maybe I'll have a few months break
It's
and then go and watch Hacks.
it's happened to me before, like accidentally when I've been watching like two shows concurrently, and unbeknownst to me, there's an actor who's in both, and it just throws me. Like it just blows my mind, and it completely shatters the what you call the verisimilitude, the believability of it,
Mm-hmm.
because you kind of have to suspend your disbelief to watch shows a lot of the time anyway.
But some
Um,
people who are real character actors or have a real, like, they don't bend too much. They're just them. Like,
yeah, yeah. I
Jane, what's her name? From,
Krakowski.
yeah, Krakowski.
Yeah, yeah,
The character she played in Kimmy Schmidt is
yeah.
exactly the same character she played in 30 Rock.
30 Rock,
Like,
yeah.
to
And when
me,
I saw
it's
her
the
a
same
few weeks
character.
and I saw her a few weeks ago on stage at the National Theatre here in London, and it was a Stephen Sondheim musical, but her character was very similar to Jenna Maroney from 30 Rock, and
Yeah.
it. I think I don't know. I think there are some actors who are really able to perhaps not insert themselves too much. Like I think Meryl Streep is someone who I don't know. Actually, I was going to say Meryl Streep's one of those people who I really feel like she's a chameleon and she really
Oh, yeah, I
changes
think
from
so.
role to role. But there is, I think, a slight undercurrent of a running theme in a lot of her, not all of her roles, but a lot of them where she plays that kind of stern, like the role she played in The Devil Wears Prada.
But when you look at her in that role,
Mm-hmm.
you 1000% believe that she is Miranda
She's
Priestley,
Miranda.
right?
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
watch Jane Krakowski, you're like, either that's Jane Krakowski or that's Jenna Maroney playing somebody else.
Jenna
You know,
Maroney. That's Jenna
Jenna
Maroney playing Jane Krakowski,
Krakowski. So, but with
playing
Meryl
someone else.
Streep in that movie, Devil Wears Prada, you remember her as Miranda Priestley, even though your
Yeah,
brain
yeah,
knows that
true,
it's
true.
this real human.
Yeah,
You're like, no, 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 that's Miranda Priestley. So, I don't know. There are a lot of actors who are like that, but for me, Meg Stelter, like I haven't seen her in many like acting roles. Like I've seen her
right.
do stand up and I've
Comedy.
seen
Yeah.
her comedy skits, but
Hmm.
she's kind of just an extension of herself.
Well, yeah. I mean, and in Hacks, her character in Hacks is very much an extension of Meg Stalter. I think when I see her in Hacks, I think that's Meg Stalter. I don't think that's. I can't even
Yeah,
remember what her character's name is in the show, but I think of her as Meg Stalter doing a cameo sort
yeah.
of thing. Um, and that's what I mean. I think there are some actors, like I don't know, like Olivia Colman's one of them. Like I think, because I get fed so many of those like Graham Norton clips in my
Yeah.
timeline and stuff, and so like you see her being interviewed, and I feel like she is one of those people who is always just playing a sort of a version of herself in some way.
Hmm.
And maybe that's just good acting. I don't know, but yeah, some actors more than others.
Well,
You really feel like they're always playing a different variation of the same thing.
I was,
Not in a bad way, in a good way.
I was watching an interview with this. I can't even remember her name. I think her real name is Jess, but her character's name is Nancy on the TV show Hollyoaks. And this
Okay.
interview with her the other day, she was saying, "Oh, I'm celebrating 20 years of playing Nancy on Hollyoaks."
Oh God.
And she sat there in the green room or whatever, talking to camera, and it was just Nancy. Like you couldn't play a role like that where you're playing it pretty much 7 days a week for
Yeah.
20 years, and there actually
Yeah.
be any discernible difference between you and the character,
I
unless
mean,
you.
there would be to her, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well
But
they were getting her to watch back some of her clips, like her first scene, and I was just like, that's just you walking into a room and saying, like, that's not like Miranda Priestley, that's you. just with a different name.
Yeah.
And I was just like what? How would it be emotionally or psychologically for these people? Like the guy who, like, what's his name? Ian Woodcott.
Ian from EastEnders. Yeah, Ian Woodhouse.
What's his name?
Not Ian. Adam Woodyard.
Adam Woodyard.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine him. Like, how long's he been playing that role? Like,
Like 100
35
years.
years or something, or 40 years, right?
Uh-huh.
Or people who were on Neighbours, the Australian soap opera, like the guy who played Paul Robinson. What's his name?
Stephen Dennis.
Stephen Dennis. You must really forget, like, what you're like. I don't know, because they're on set so much, and they just are pretty much just reading these. Like, there's not a lot of emotional depth to what they do, so you're just kind of acting as yourself and acting out these emotions. It must be very hard to separate reality from, like, your character. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe if you're a good actor, it's easy. But imagine playing the same role on TV for 20, 30, 40 years. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. What it must mess with your head so much.
There are so many. I love UK soap operas. They always have good gay storylines. So you think even back to the 80s when Pauline's son, Mark, was HIV positive. And
but he wasn't gay.
But it brought in, it was around that whole time where there was like a lot of hysteria around the queer community. And so they brought that in to help.
Well, they did have the two gay characters around that time as well, Colin and...
I can't remember the other character's name.
Colin and... I can't remember.
But the HIV storyline with Mark was to try and battle, like, homophobia around HIV. Like, the producers did it as sort of a public service thing to try and show, hey, it's not just gay men that can contract this virus. And then ever sort of since then, like, it was easier for a soap opera to have a gay man with HIV than it was to have a same-sex couple. You know what I mean? There was more uproar of Colin and that guy kissing. Do you remember the scandal, the first gay kiss on EastEnders?
Oh my God, yeah.
But then since then, it has just become the norm. Like, I've been watching some clips on Emmerdale. There's a gay love triangle, and it's two gay brothers are in love with the same man, and one of them was in prison, and one of them, and it's all this drama. One of them's a serial killer. It's hilarious.
And then there's a gay love triangle situation on Neighbours at the moment, I think.
Oh, is there?
I don't watch it, but, like, again, this is just the type of shit. I mean, you should see the stuff that comes up. If I go to my Instagram and just put my cursor in the search box, the, like, ridiculous array of stuff that comes up, it's hilarious, and it's working very well, because I find myself just scrolling and be like, oh, look at that video.
Well, I go and watch these gay storylines. I watch the videos because the TV channels now, because they can't make much money through advertising, because terrestrial TV is dying, they put big chunks of the shows up onto YouTube to try and generate ad revenue there. So you can go and watch some shows, like I think Hollyoaks, you can watch entire episodes every day on YouTube. So Hollyoaks has got this gay brother love triangle storyline. No, sorry, Emmerdale does. Hollyoaks has always got gay storylines. There's a young guy who tried to kiss his friend because he's confused about his sexuality, and then there's a whole bunch of gay characters on Hollyoaks. Like, half the village is gay, and then on Coronation Street, there's currently a storyline where this character has fallen in love with a closeted married man who's super religious, who's been going through conversion therapy. It is so camp and hilarious, and it's every show. And it's like, of course, a lot of homophobic people go, oh, it's the gay agenda, they're trying to ram it down our throats. But I love watching all these camp storylines on the soap operas about the gays.
Now tonight you're gonna laugh, but I think I've mentioned it on the podcast already. Tonight I'm going to see the new Jurassic World film at the cinema. I have low expectations and high hopes, but I can update you next week, because I feel like It can't. I feel like it can't be any worse than Jurassic World, but I
Yeah.
doubt it's going to be any better than the original. But I will obviously give
I
you a
want to
rundown next
I
week.
want to go and see the Superman movie.
I've not got any interest in that really.
I don't know why. It just feels like something that I could switch my brain off and immerse myself in like something that I relate it to my childhood, like most people do. Like you saw
Mm.
Superman when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really want to see that. Hey, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Theo, who sent me a really nice message saying they listened to the podcast
Oh, nice.
and and said that our shambolic approach to podcasting is very refreshing. So I don't know if that was an
Is
insult
that a
or a
compliment?
compliment.
Thank you,
They were
Theo.
saying
I think.
the magic lies in us not being polished and us just sort of
Well,
taking it very casually.
and that is exactly. We've never professed or we've never tried to be polished or scripted or anything really. We've just literally decided to do this as two friends who like having a chat and natter a bit of a gossip and set the
Natter.
world
That's such a funny
and
word.
natter,
Natter.
yeah, and set the world to rights. And that's basically the whole entire premise of this podcast. So I'm glad Theo that you're enjoying it. Thank you for joining us.
And what about the other big news that is very much consuming my whole existence is the Gaga tour started last night in Vegas.
Did it really? I didn't know
And I've
that.
already
Okay.
watched all the videos. I know you don't like spoilers and you don't want things
Is
spoiled
it
for you.
very different from the Coachella
Uh, there's
shows?
there's quite a few elements that are the same. They've kept some set pieces, but they've added like about another 10 songs. I think it's like
Okay.
29 songs or something.
Wow.
And some huge surprises of what she sings. Like I was shocked when like I heard some of the
From her
clips.
back catalogue.
Yeah, I was just like, I can't believe she's singing that. Like
Really?
you'll really appreciate some of the. I don't
Hmm.
know if you want to
Okay.
know, but
Go on then. Tell me. Tell me
okay,
one. Tell me one. Tell me one.
okay, Summer Boy.
Okay. I was just thinking first album, and
Yeah,
because I think there's a song on the new album that is basically used Summer Boy as a what do you call it? Like
tracking.
a blueprint or a
Yeah,
tracking. Yeah, but a blueprint. And okay, that's interesting.
and there is one of her studio albums, her full proper studio albums that she doesn't sing one single song from. Can you guess what album that is?
Joanne.
No.
No. Oh.
Oh, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she does. Oh no, she does one from Joanne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Art pop.
No, she does.
Should she do Venus?
No. Are
Really?
we gonna just go through? Do you want
No,
me to
no, no.
just
Okay,
tell
let's
you?
not.
She
Theo will be tuning out already.
she does applause
Okay.
from Art Pop. She didn't sing any songs from Chromatica.
Oh well, that is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Not my favorite Gaga album at all.
So I've been looking at, we talked back when the tickets went on sale about like how the drama we couldn't get tickets. I check every couple of days for the London dates and the Manchester dates. There is
Mhm.
never one single ticket
Wow.
available, not one
Wow.
ever for any
Thank
of the dates.
thank Gaga that we got tickets to Paris. Then
And then
we'll always have Paris.
I'm also going to the Brisbane
Yeah.
show.
All right. All right.
So
I'm sick with jealousy.
am I allowed to talk on the pod about my big news about
Yeah,
Australia?
I think you can.
So we've mentioned it, but
Hmm.
Hill and I applied for his visa to move to Australia, but the Australian government is notoriously slow and thorough, and some might say a little bit overprotective of their borders. And we applied back in December 2023 for
Hmm.
this visa, and we just this month found out and he had it approved.
Because when
So,
you applied, didn't they say the processing time was about 6 to 8 months or something?
something like that, and then it went up to 12, then it went up to 24, then it went to 48, then it came down to 37. Like it jumped all over.
Hmm.
We were still only just over halfway through the current waiting time. And when you move to Australia as well, you'll know as the partner of somebody because we went
Hmm.
through this process. What year did we do it together?
2002.
Okay. And if anyone else thinks they can approach me to do it for them, I'm only allowed to do it twice in my life, and so I've already used up all my chances. So,
Yeah.
um, when you apply, you get the temporary visa,
Mm-hmm.
and then that lasts for 2 years after from the date that you applied, and
Yeah.
then you get the permanent visa awarded to you. But
Mm-hmm.
because we've waited so long, it hasn't been 2 years. They awarded him both the temporary and the permanent visa in one go.
That's
So
incredible.
he's got the permanent, so that's for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
He can work, live in Australia. If he wants to become a citizen, he has to live there for 4 years
Yep.
and meet some residency requirements of time spent in and out of the country.
Yep.
And we have a year to enter the country for the visa to be activated.
Mm-hmm.
So we have until July 9th, 2026 to enter. So yeah, we're looking at the dates when we're going to go. At the moment, it's looking like we might go around May 2026.
It's the
I mean,
final countdown, Sue.
I can't possibly go anywhere with Gaga coming up in Paris.
No.
I've already got a holiday booked to Australia in December, once again to see Gaga.
You're not tempted to just stay? Just
I don't.
stay?
No, I think I've got to come back, and you know, Hill's got things at his work here that he wants to see through and finish off, and plus, money wise, it would be good to just get ourselves a bit more sorted out and work out what we're doing. We've also not 100% sure of whether we'll move to Brisbane or Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
and that's I don't know if anyone wants to chime in with
Well,
opinions.
I can chime in, but having lived in both, I would say, and I can't speak for Hill, but for me, I grew up in London in a very, very big city. Hill grew up in Mexico City, an equally large metropolis, in some ways bigger
Yeah,
and busier
big,
than London.
yeah,
I found it really hard to adjust to life in Brisbane. And yeah, it was, I don't know what year that was, 2002 we moved over there. So we're talking a long time ago. And Brisbane has changed and it is busier, it is more cosmopolitan than it was, but it still doesn't have the same feel as a big city like London or Mexico City. Sydney does to some extent, although again, not to the extent of London
it's
or
still
Mexico City.
quiet. When we were in Australia 2 years ago, and we're in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Some bits are busy, like, a little bit bustling,
Yeah,
like you go
along
down to
George Street or yeah, yeah,
Circular Quay, and
yeah,
pretty much where there are tourists. But you would be walking around like the business district, and there would be space around you. You
yeah,
can't do
yeah.
that in London and Mexico City on a busy work day.
No,
Like it's
no,
just swarms of people.
yeah.
And even in Sydney, I mean, Brisbane comparatively is a ghost town. I mean, we're
Oh,
walking through
yeah,
the center of the city and there was nobody around. And Hill was like,
yeah,
is something happening? Why is the city so quiet? I'm like, this is
yeah.
Brisbane.
That's
Like, there's,
Brisbane, and like there are lovely people in Brisbane who I like to see,
but
but yeah, for me the city does nothing. I don't think Brisbane's a particularly attractive city. Not that that matters, but I feel like in Sydney, I would just so often, even after years of living there, I would just you'd come across a view of the Harbour Bridge or the Opera House or just the harbour, and it's a very beautiful city to live in.
yeah.
There's always beautiful stuff to see, whereas Brisbane, it's not that. It's got some nice things, like the Story
And
Bridge is nice to look at. The Kangaroo Cliffs are okay.
Kangaroo Cliffs,
Well, that's it. Like
Captain
there's
Crunch.
not.
I think Brisbane is pretty. I like the climate. I think, there are nice things around, like the coastal areas, the
Hmm,
rainforests. I think it's pretty. In the river, I enjoy traveling on the river by boat. Um, but yeah, Sydney is another level. It's a spectacular, visually stunning city.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
really beautiful. Like,
I think if you've ever been to like San Francisco in the Bay Area,
yeah.
it's similar in that just you have these stunning views, and the harbour itself is absolutely beautiful.
But what
Speaking
about,
of the Bay Area, I'm not
oh,
going to say
okay.
her name on the podcast, but I had dinner last night with a family friend who used to live in the Bay Area. You and I have visited her in Northern California,
Yeah.
and I had dinner with her and her partner last night, and they are Actually, you know, I'm not going to say it on the podcast because it's just to do with like the political situation in
Oh,
America
okay.
and their take on it. But yeah,
Okay, well, don't tell me that.
so maybe I
But
won't say it on the podcast. Yeah.
but the whole Brisbane versus Sydney thing,
Hmm.
what I'm also trying to consider is that Hill is a very social person and he's very family and friend connected, whereas I'm more of a hermit. Like I cannot see people for a year and I don't give a shit. I'm
Yeah.
sure it affects me, and I'm sure that I do benefit from mixing with people, but I have lived my life quite isolated. But he loves interacting with
Yeah.
people
Yeah. He's
and
very,
being
very
social.
sociable.
And in
Hmm.
Brisbane, you know, we would have uh, people in my family that I'm still close to. We have some of my best friends who
Hmm.
I, you know, do spend a lot of time with when I'm around them. And so
Hmm.
we would have a ready-made social structure. In
Mm.
Sydney, I feel like it might be a little bit more isolated. And of course, you can go to Brisbane anytime. Like there are flights. I mean, and my best friend Amy, who lives on the Gold Coast, I mean, she's in Sydney pretty much every week or every second week.
Yeah.
So we would
Yeah.
see people, but it would just might feel a little bit more isolating. But then London is as well. London is very, even you don't see
Yeah.
people.
But that's partly to do with the size of London. You know, London takes so long to get across.
Mm,
That's a barrier to seeing people. Whereas, yeah, like I mean, I suppose if I was going to look at Brisbane's good points, I would say that's one of them. There, you
yeah.
know, it's a small city. It doesn't take that long to get from, I don't know, South Bank to Paddington, or you know, Kelvin Grove to New Farm, or you know, it's
From Woolloongabba to Nunda.
yeah. Um, Sydney is that bit bigger, and it does take a little while. Although it's, you know, after having lived in London, Sydney is going to seem very, you know, accessible and very. Sydney's a great city. I think you should go to Sydney, but obviously, you could do what's right for you. I think the work situation for Hill would be better in Sydney. Um,
Yeah,
as much as Queensland and Brisbane has changed, it's still quite a conservative redneck part of the world, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of, you know, family and friends of ours that live in Brisbane would, you know, quite readily acknowledge that it is still quite conservative,
yeah.
if not politically, although I have no idea who the Premier of Queensland is at the moment.
I
But
don't either.
yeah, like I just think Sydney is just a much more cosmopolitan, global kind of city. I think
Yeah.
Hill would be a lot happier there. But anyway, that's for you guys to figure out. But that's great, and we are going to obviously still do the podcast. We'll just have to work out the time of day that suits us best, but we will still be able to check in with each other once a week and do the podcast. Your setting, your background might change quite regularly, but
Well, how hilarious would it be if I was able to do it with the backdrop of like an ocean view or something,
oh
or
yeah,
a river
the
view?
Sydney Harbour.
Well, I don't think I've got the money, the funds to live with the Sydney Harbour view, but
No, no,
one can dream. I could swing the Brisbane River as a backdrop in with my budget, but I don't think I could
yeah,
swing Sydney Harbour.
doesn't quite compare to Sydney Harbour though, does it? That sort of brown river, muddy
So
river.
so yeah, like people are coming up to me and saying, "Oh, we've heard you're leaving." I'm like, "Well, not for a while. Like it's a long time in the future, really,
Oh
but
yeah,
it'll
it's like almost a
probably
year away.
come around very quickly." So
Yeah.
in the meantime, I've teamed up again with Unity Diner. Now it's a vegan restaurant in Shoreditch, and they've asked me to host a monthly supper club for them
Hmm.
and to help raise money for an animal sanctuary. So I'm going to help them with that. And help it get it established. And because did you know that Unity Diner is like not for profit and all the money goes to
Yeah.
the animal sanctuary? Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, that's nice. So when's your next Unity Diner supper
The
club?
1st of September. It's a Monday night.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we could put the link
Yeah, yeah. Put the link in the show notes.
in the show notes.
When you go to Australia, maybe you should see what your old friend Belle Gibson's up to.
Wow, I could get
Get,
involved with
get
supporting
on,
the Australian
yeah,
Ethiopian community.
yeah, get on board.
What yeah, we've talked a lot about like the level of scamming and scammers and cults in Australia. Like there just seems to be disproportionate number of that sort of stuff going on.
Hmm.
And I was reading the other day about that is his name AJ Slater? Is that his name? Who had that religion or spiritual following called God's Way, I think it was
Oh,
called.
yeah.
And him and
From
his partner were he was saying that he was a resurrection of Jesus and she was Mary. And
as you do.
they were signing off all of their correspondence as, lots of love, Jesus and Mary. And I'm just like, come on now. And they're from rural Queensland.
Wow.
So,
Speaking of Mary, does Gaga do Bloody Mary in the tour set?
yes, she does.
Okay, good to know.
You're going to get sucked in and watch some of the clips.
As much as I'm like, I don't want to know. I'm going to like, over the coming weeks, I'm going to needle it out of you, like every single song.
Guess what the finale is? The show-stopping finale.
Is it from the current album?
Yep, you'll be very happy.
Oh, okay. Well, it's got to be, I can't think. I'm brain dead at the moment.
Maybe you need to go on a juice cleanse, Sue, to get the toxins out of your brain.
So many toxins in my brain. I just can't think straight. It's going to be, oh God, I can't.
How Bad Do You Want Me?
How Bad Do You Want Me? Thank you. That's the one I was trying to think of.
It's turned into a real fan favorite, and so it's turned into this show-stopping finale.
Brilliant. I can't wait. When is that gig? November.
It's so far away. It feels so far away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'm excited to go to Australia. And I'm like, well, I've got to get through going to Italy. I've got to get through going to Paris for Gaga. I've got to get going to Australia for a holiday first. Then I've got to come back. And then I'm doing, I feel like there's so many exciting things happening before that. And by the time we go, just a little while after going down there, we'll be.
Where are you talking about? Australia.
Move to Australia. To Australia. If we moved in May or June, not long after that would be at 2-year anniversary of the podcast.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. We should maybe we can do a 2-year anniversary special from Australia. Maybe I'll try and raise some funds to fly down under.
We can do it. We can do a special broadcast from Yabby Creek.
Yabby Creek. What's it called in real life?
Home and Away.
Yeah, no.
Home and Away was Summer Bay.
Summer Bay, that's right. Yeah. What was Yabby Creek?
Their local rival town was Yabby Creek.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Some bad egg would roll into Summer Bay.
Didn't Morag live in Yabby Creek?
I don't know where Morag lived, but
Cornelia Francis.
But we could do a live stream from the top of the opera.
From
the Harbour Bridge.
Porpoise Spit.
Remember you went to the top of the Harbour Bridge and had a panic attack?
God, don't. That was fucking terrifying. It was really not a good moment in my life.
Do you feel like there was a before that incident and an after that incident in your life? Like it changed your brain chemistry?
Yeah, it something cracked. And, before that, because you knew me before that, and then you obviously know me still now. Before that, I would never get scared flying, right? I loved flying. I absolutely just adored flying. I would stare out the window the whole time. And then after that, I'm better now than I used to be. But for about, 5 years after that Harbour Bridge incident, remember there was a whole period where I couldn't even look out the window of a plane, and I would just be shaking for the entire flight. I'm better now than I used to be, but I used to be able to sleep really well on planes, and I can't sleep on planes anymore. I'll grab half an hour here, 40 minutes there, but I can't sleep for hours and hours. Are you? It's a shame, isn't it, that the flight is just such a fucking pain to get to Australia.
It's a long way.
So long. It's so long. And I mean, yes, all right, it's ridiculous to complain about it, the level of privilege involved in complaining about the length of a flight to Australia, but it does feel like going to another planet sometimes.
Well, we're thinking about how Hill's siblings would visit us in Australia.
Yeah, there are no direct flights from Mexico to Australia.
No, but you can fly via the US. But if you fly via the US and have to change planes, don't you need?
You have to clear.
Yeah,
US
and
immigration.
as Mexicans, they need a visa.
Yeah.
To do that, and so they might.
I don't know if they can get a transit visa, or I don't know.
Maybe.
How it works. I don't know. Yeah.
maybe, but and also in the current climate over there, it's not easy to do. It can take years to even get a visitor's
Yeah.
visa for
Actually, no. Do you
Mexicans.
know what I think they would? I think they would need to get an
Yeah,
actual like visa.
yeah, and
The only
so
other way of doing it is flying from Mexico to Canada, but that's like a long way out of your way. You know, that's
or
flying.
what I think Hill was looking at flights like fly from Mexico to Europe and then back down, and
Yeah,
but
but
it
that's
ends up
like
being 30 or 40
because if you could
hours.
fly direct from Mexico City to Sydney, for example, that would be about 14 hours flight. It's not actually, well, it's far, but it's, going to Europe is like going as far away as you possibly could from Australia.
Yeah, I mean
You can
the
fly,
quickest route is from Mexico to LA and then
yeah,
LA to Sydney or
you,
Brisbane.
you can fly from the east coast of Australia to Buenos Aires, I think, in Argentina, maybe Santiago in Chile.
But that's a long
Um,
way from Mexico.
it is, but at least it's, it would be down from Mexico and then across.
But is that like
Um,
how long do you think the flight is from Mexico City
to
to
like
Buenos Aires?
Santiago or something. It's probably
Santiago.
like probably not 8, 9 hours, something like that.
Wow, such a long
Um,
distance, isn't it? How about this new flight that they're going to do all the way from Sydney to London? Is that
yeah, Mongo, right? I would actually hate that. I would hate to be cramped up on a plane for that long without being able to get off, and even if it's like half an hour, just to stretch your legs a bit.
yeah,
I would struggle with that. I wish if I could sleep well on planes, but obviously since the Sydney Harbour Bridge incident
the
of
brain crackage.
2005 or whatever it was.
The brain crackage. I had a similar brain crackage with heights when we went on Morro Rock.
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah.
was that? In
In Sequoia National Park in California.
I was cautious around heights, but I had never had that deathly fear. I felt like I was dying on that rock. I thought I was going to fall into that into that canyon and die. Like I was so terrified. And do you
And
remember I couldn't even walk on it? I was so scared I had to get on my butt and scooch along like a dog to get off
hmm
the rock. And people were like laughing and running past me and pushing.
yeah, yeah. But that's yeah, that's a good example because I went up there and that was before the Sydney Harbour Bridge incident, and I was fine on the top of Morro Rock. Um, and then when I went back last year with Laura. Was it last year? The year before last, maybe. I went with our friend Laura, and I couldn't go up that path. Like it was, even though I'm pretty much okay with flying now, there are still some situations where I'm just like, no, I can't deal with that kind of like height.
Did
Uh,
did Laura go up it?
no, I
Yeah.
think she might have if I hadn't have been there, like
Yeah. But
shaking
to
and
me, like
terrified.
I could go on a roller coaster and not be scared, even if it's up
Yeah,
high.
yeah,
Like
I'll
I
do
feel
that.
thrilled, but not scared. But if
Yeah.
I'm anywhere, like even if I'm on the fourth floor of this building, if I go out on my balcony, I can't really even lean on the balcony. Like I feel like
Mm,
I'm gonna
mm,
fall.
yeah, yeah. Um, we should wrap up in a minute, but I've got a few things I need to put in the show notes. There's the supper club. There's the what was the other thing?
I can't
Something
remember.
about something. I'll be editing this episode anyway, so I'll put it in whatever I mention. But in the meantime, also don't forget to subscribe to us wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the other podcast apps that we're on now. And give us a thumbs up, give us a rating as well. A rating would be very helpful to boost our algorithms. And yes, welcome to Theo, and thank you again to Helen, our sort of number one follower from the very beginning. We appreciate everyone that listens or watches. Do let us know if there are any topics that you want us to talk about in our uninformed, uneducated, badly researched, flippant way.
I
We'd be
think
happy to
badly researched would suggest we do some form of
some
research.
form. Yeah, that's true. So unresearched
Unresearched. Yeah.
way. Otherwise, you can find me on social media if you look for Josh in the Jumpstarts and find out what I'm doing with my music and what I'm eating, what juices I'm not consuming, and which vitamins I'm not getting enough of, and how many toxins I'm over consuming. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, people can follow me at FatGayVegan on Instagram. They can look at my blog, fatgayvegan.com. And likewise, I'm busy toxifying my body and looking at all the juices that I can't afford to drink anyway, even if they did say what they said they do on the label, which they don't. That's what I'm busy doing. But hopefully people can come out to some events, including the Queer Open Mic that we run in Kennington together.
That's on the last Sunday of every month, by the way.
Yeah. Or London Vegan Social, which I run on the first Wednesday of every month. If you're in London, come along. It'd be nice to say hi. We have had some people come along to the events and say they listen. So
yeah. And told me I was talking too much.
Hill said that to me the other day. He goes,
"What? That I'm talking too much?"
Yeah, he goes, "Why does he talk so much and talk over you all the time?" And I was like, "Well, you'll have to ask him. Maybe he's not drinking enough juice."
I feel like that's only in the short promo reels we do for the podcast. In the general episode, I think it's shared pretty evenly. But you know what? Our listeners and viewers, they can tell me where I'm going wrong if they want.
Sound off below. Sound off in the comments if you think. Who do you think has more of the airtime? Sound off below. Maybe we'll do a little poll that people can take, take a poll and shove it up your ass.
That's such a niche reference. All right, folks. I'm not going to say any more now. You can take us out, Sean.
Okay, well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back with episode 54, I suppose. This was 53. Yeah, but we'll be back with 54 because this is 53. We'll be back in 54 and have a wonderful time, and we'll see you next time. Bye.